stream, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to throw this up here like this. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the stream. As always, starting off, first things first, nothing is financial advice. Nothing I speak about, nothing I talk about, nothing on this channel or anything related to my channel is financial advice. Everything about this is education purposes only. The information on this channel is provided for education and informational purposes only without any express or implied warranty. Please feel free to go through this, and so that way you know the things that I'm talking about, not advice, simply education. Good stuff. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Audio is a bit low. I see. How about now? How about now? How y'all doing? Is it good now? Is it fixed? Wouldn't be a normal stream if I didn't have at least one small technical difficulty. All right, looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. I'm really excited to do this stream today. And as always, I am going to start off by saying a few things. I like to give some kind of value, some kind of piece of trading education that can hopefully help you all to chip away and continue to get better every single day. And hopefully you can implement it in your trading or maybe just for yourself. All right. Today I'm going to go over a few market traps, liquidity, where is the money, those kind of things. What is the market trying to accomplish? Why? Why is it happening? And the thing is, whenever I'm looking at these setups, I already have a broad spectrum idea about what I'm looking for. For example, here, inside day, I know that there was money sitting above that level. And if they break that inside day, that the probability or the idea could be that there is going to be money down at the low of that inside bar, because the way that people trade is they take the breakouts of inside bars on the daily chart and they put their stops down at the low. This is also a major swing low. So the idea is if you're following the money, this is a probable place for them to come back to. And if you're trying to go long from this area or whatever, that's not what the market is trying to accomplish. They're trying to get down to the money. I break it down from a larger setup. I always like to take it from, hey, I'm looking at maybe high of week, first red day, we're at the inside, inside day, whatever it may be. I'll take that broad spectrum idea and I'll start to figure out, well, how do I plan on getting into the market? What has happened already? From there, I go and I say, okay, let's look at market structure. Is the structure of the market telling me that it's ready to go down? If the answer is yes, I can move on. Am I in my session? Yes or no? Answer is yes, I can move on. All right, and if we continue to break down and the pattern continues to form, I start to look for other smaller market traps that I can use to help me get into the market, to at least identify if it's time. Is it ready? Are we ready to start looking for that entry? Things such as 1, 2, 3s. All right, there is, I'm going to delete all of this. The psychology of a 1, 2, 3. Let's talk about it real quick. 1, 2, this is not a 3, all right? I got it. 2 candles, 3 candles, 4 candles. Got it, all right? But let's think about it like this. People will teach you that supply and demand, right? If it's going up and then they engulf, and then you would take like something like this and be like, oh, the last candle in an upswing, that becomes supply and demand zones and stuff like that. But why? Is it because there's orders sitting there, or is it because there's people buying the close of candles into an extreme or in the wrong place in the chart? So for example, if I bought the close of that candle, if I bought the close of that candle, if I bought the close of that candle, in one bar, they have now traveled the distance and gone below all of these opening prices. I'm sorry, closing prices. All of these closing prices, which means that potentially, if I'm watching this play out, this could be a trap. Which means that this is, if the 1 minute chart were to shoot back up towards that area, or maybe just up into here, or maybe this candle forms and I'm on the 1 minute chart and I see that and I see, okay, there's a little pump, I can get in. That's like one method. Same here. 1, 2, 3. Close, candle. Got all of those people stuck. Same thing up here. 1, 2, 3. Got them. All right. So I'm not saying this is where I get in. I'm not saying I'm hopping in the market the moment I see a candle that engulfs another candle. No. But what I'm saying is, if I see this and I'm on the 1 minute chart trying to figure out what the heck to do, where to get in, wherever it may be, this can give me an idea of where people may or may not be stuck. So for example, we have this close, that close, that close, and now they've traveled the distance to go below those candles. Look, they never let those people out of their positions. And if I'm sitting here on the 1 minute chart and I'm watching, that's a lot of information. That's an area where, in my mind, they may have people stuck. So all I have to do now is continue to confirm the rest of my thesis and the rest of my trading criteria, right? I have to still monitor market structure. I'm watching the highs and the lows on the 1 minute chart. I'm sitting here watching. Okay, there's a low. They broke the high. So now I can put my new high, validate a low. All right, they went higher. So now I'm going to put my new swing low. I'm going to mark this across before I misspeak and say something. So we go higher there, and then they start to pull back. So now I've got a new swing low. They go higher right there. So that means that my low is probably about the same area as that one right there. All right, so the initial break in structure was right there, and then this is the pump and the dump. But what I'm trying to get at is they never went back and let those people who bought on the last level or in that 1, 2, 3 out of their positions. That's just one thing or one area that I look at as a market trap. Another market trap is I would almost be willing to bet money that there is probably a time, I'm not actually betting, by the way, I'm just, as a phrase, there's probably a time over here that the market opened a new candle, whether that be hourly or maybe like a 15-minute candle, and it's looking like it's probably going to be an hourly candle. So, new hour candle opened up. And from that candle, right there, 1 o'clock, they drove the market up one time. They drove the market up 2 times. And then they drove the market up a 3rd time. Push 1, push 2, push 3. Very common tactic of the market on a lower time frame. When you see a new 1 hour candle, when you see a new 15-minute candle, something along those lines, they will open a candle and drive in 3 pushes on that last level, and they will not allow those people to get out of their positions. That's why a lot of my stops are so tight. That's why when I get into the market in a certain place, my thought process is they are stuck. They shouldn't go back. And if they do, I'm wrong, or I'm early. I'm either wrong or early. All right. So my mind, open candle, 1, 2, 3, dump market, people stuck. All right. So if I'm still tracking this trade, I'm still trying to figure out where to get in. Some basic information, not even basic, just good information to help me get into the market. I combine that in with my entry criteria, which you all already are hopefully aware of. Boom, right there. Something like this. All right. This is kind of a broken down version of it. I've got lots of other versions of it. It's the same information presented slightly different ways throughout my channel. If you look at my 1 minute video, it's actually my most viewed video. That one has all of this information in it as well. Okay. So over this, I've gone through market traps. I've gone through, well, that's really it, I guess. Market traps. I just want to see where people are stuck, and I've given you a few extra ways now to do that. And as promised, I said it in the, I'm going to get rid of this before people, I don't want to distract you all. There we go. All right, no more red bar going across the screen. But ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. If you are in here right now, I've only got 37 likes in the stream and 84 viewers. Do me a huge favor. It takes you 2 seconds. Just take your mouse, go over, hit the little button, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. I do these streams every Tuesday, every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I got started a little bit late today. And I also do long-form content every Saturday, and I usually put that out around 7 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. Owen, you put the little upside down sad face thing, whatever that means. I'm hoping that means you said solid. That was a great explanation. Is that sarcasm? Do you still not understand? Or if you do, or if you don't, I'll keep going. I'll explain a little bit more. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk just quickly. I've been talking now for about maybe 10 minutes or so. I want to tell you all a little bit about why I feel like, and this is completely based off psychology, and the thing that I did specifically that I feel like I did that made me get to where I'm at right now. And I could go into, like, I stayed motivated. I woke up at 5 a.m. every day, and I sent motivational texts to everyone. And then I drank 32 ounces of water, and I did all these things. No, none of that. That's not where I'm going with this. Okay? I'm going to be more specific than that, and I'm not going to do all this motivational nonsense stuff. I'm going to give you practical things that I've done, I think, to get to where I'm at right now. I think the reason that I've even been able to get to where I am with my trading, why I'm successful in trading, why I'm doing well, is because I went into it with a full-blown plan. I came into it with, I want to be here in the next year. What do I need to do to accomplish that? And I came up with a few things. I needed to I needed to get a good education. I needed to learn as much as I possibly could. I needed to practice as much as I possibly could. And I needed to not blow all of my money so that I could actually trade live funds in the process, after I actually get my education and do all of these things. So, education. Getting to a solid place with my understanding of the market. I had to find a good mentor. I had to find somebody that I could actually watch and learn from consistently every day. For me, that person, as you all know, or probably know, is Stacey Burke. I learned pretty much everything I know about the markets from him. Outside of him, I learned a little bit from BTMM, watching his videos online, and then also just a little itty-bitty amount from ICT. I just took structure from him. And that's who I learned from. And then from there, I practiced. A lot of time, a lot of chart time. And I've shown you all this before. But charting, right? I wanted to become a professional at charting and making notes and taking notes and doing things like this, building these binders. And I just have binders and binders of charts and things that I was carrying around like a crazy person to work, to bed, in the car. And I would just study charts all day long, every day, to the point of it would probably burn out most people. And that was great. But pinpointing in why I feel like I've done well, it was because I took all the information that I learned and I got to a point where I understood it, but I also had gaps and I wasn't making money. I wasn't profitable. I was kind of barely breaking even. There was something missing. There was gaps in my process, and the thing that accelerated my growth the most, the thing that propelled me into profitability, was taking the information that I understood and knew about the market and making my own process. The information I had was great, but I did not actually truly understand what I was looking for. So from that, I developed things like my entry criteria. I developed things like, this is how I'm going to track market structure. Because within my entry criteria, I said, well, I need a break in structure. I needed to see X, Y, and Z. But then I didn't have definitions and ways to define those other variables, market structure, traps, reasons for getting in the market other than just these 6 points. I needed to create a plan, a solid plan that I can't screw it up if I made it myself, right? I cannot screw it up. I made my own rules. I took the information I knew and I just created something out of it. And I would challenge all of you that is struggling, or maybe you're barely break even, to take all of the education, everything that you are learning from my channel, from other channels or whatever, and don't be so dependent on the people that are giving the information. That's why I trade and I teach the way that I do, is because I want to help you all develop yourselves into self-sufficient people, or traders in general, that you can go and you can look at the market and you can go, this is what I'm looking for, that's what I'm waiting for, I'm getting in there, the reason I got in there is because of this, it's part of my plan. Not, well, I was watching Cam's channel today and he said, and then I got in over here because of this. Once you stop relying on someone else and you take that information, you've just achieved the next level. And you can take that information, you can develop it into your own plan, follow it day by day, relentlessly. Don't ever, get away from it, and eventually you'll get there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I feel like I've made it to where I am. I was taking that information and developing and building my own plan. I really do hope that's going to help somebody. Maybe you're kind of in the same spot. I talked to a gentleman this afternoon, and he kind of gave me the idea or the thought to talk about this because he's in the same exact place that I was. And I remember that feeling of like, I'm right there. I don't understand why I just can't get over the hump. There's something I'm not understanding. You just have to do it for yourself. Make the plan and stick to it every single day. All right. Enough of that. Enough of talking. Let's get into the actual analysis of what's going on. I'm going to throw all this stuff down here into the awaiting stuff. And we're going to get into the actual setups. It looks like this week is developing. It's setting up really, really well. And I'm excited. I am excited. I'm going to move my face out of the way because obviously it is covering some stuff right now. And I would hate to get halfway through this video or this live stream and be like, well, yeah, they couldn't see anything. All right. I'm going to start off on the S&P 500 because it's at the top of the list. And I'm going to delete everything so that everybody who's watching this can watch me go through the entire process of everything that I do. In fact, I'll just delete everything. I want you all to see exactly what goes through my brain. I want you all to be able to see what I'm looking for, and I just break it down into bullet points. I try to keep it as simple of an analysis as possible. I don't want to overcomplicate or make it into something that I have to sit here and stare at the pair for 15 minutes per pair. I want to be able to look at it, go, yes, this is that, and then move on. And I'm going to get rid of whatever that was, and we're going to go back to here. All right, S&P 500. And we're looking at, I thought it was going to be a failed breakout today, but they pulled it right back just at the end, right at the very end. So, first thing that stands out to me is the fact that we made a lower low and the fact that we have now made a higher high. The market started going back down from this point, boom, 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 and then they made a lower low. So this is a minor break, no big deal. I'm going to throw this high up here like this. So this is my overall swing high, which is going to turn into my previous day's high from today anyway. So that's a major level. Make sure that I throw this up there just as a minor detail. Now, this is part of my identification process for my bullet points, right? I need to structure. I need to see what is the remaining structure from the session. We had a high. I'm sorry, I'm going to start up here. We had a high, a low, lower high, lower low, which confirmed my high. Now we've had a higher high, which means that currently that is my high. And then this low has not been confirmed yet because they have not broken up and made a higher high, which means that my overall low is still all the way down yonder. I'm going to mark this off as a smaller end-of-day consolidation, something like this, EODC. And then I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to take a look at some other things. We have 1 day of breakouts, 2 days of breakouts. So I only have 2 days of breakout traders in the market right now. However, I have, one. Really, I need to get some levels back up there. Hold on. No. Let's put that up there. Pips to profit indicator. For all of you that don't know, I use multiple so that way I can adjust the settings for whatever situation that I'm in. For this example, I've got my previous week, previous days, and previous months levels up there. So, although I do not have 3 pushes out of the opening range, I've got my first, my second, and so that means that maybe tomorrow we could be getting, one of the ideas could be, maybe we're getting the third. I'm going to put 3P OR question mark, and I'm going to put my second push labeled right here. So that way I know, okay, I've only got 3 pushed out of the opening range. However, what I do have is 1 push down out of the previous week's low, second push down, 3 pushes down out of the previous week's low. All right, so I always come into the session with these levels up on my chart, so I'm aware, like, okay, look, we've got 1, 2, and 3 out of the previous week's low. That could be a pretty good level to trade from. All right. Tomorrow's NFP. Yes, it is. All right, now I need to find 3-day cycle. I've got day 1 up here. There was a failed breakout. We had day 2, and then we have day 3. This day 3 was going to become a failed breakout, but then it didn't. So we have D3, and that day 3 did become a day 1 of the 3-day cycle, but not because of a failed breakout. It is just day 3 because this day was not an inside day. It actually just traded as normal, which is fine. So day 3, 3-day cycle. I've got market structure labeled. I have my opening range idea labeled. Now, we do have lots of volume trap down low. We have it potentially under Wednesday's low, which is good. So I'm going to draw this little breakout level. Something like this. Breakout level. Something like that. All right. The reason I have that breakout level monitored is because whenever we have at the end of the week like this, 3 pushes down, the potential or the possibility for them to use this as volume trap down low goes up. They could run this back up pretty quick. I'm sorry, my dogs are going nuts right now because there's somebody coming home. Check over here. Questions. Thank you all for the support. I appreciate it. ICT, Silver Bullet. I don't know what. Market all day and then come in at night to talk. I'm not really sure what you're talking about, Junior. How much of do you use? How much of Stacey Burke style do I use? I use the idea of signal days and the 3-day cycle, but that was 3-day cycle was more of a George. I think his name is George Taylor. The Taylor trading technique and also BTMM. But I use the weekly templates from Stacey. But I've also assigned some of the things that I look for within the weekly templates. Those are things that I've come up with on my own over time that I look for. Those aren't things that I've learned from him. The idea of 3 pushes I learned from him. So lots of like little nuances here and there. Trading from the high of the day and the low of the day. All right. I'm not seeing any questions. Day 3, US 500, red day. No, this is not a first red day. I was actually looking for a first green day. The market opened right here and it closed slightly below. And it actually, I have a feeling one of the other indexes is probably going to set up better. So as far as the things that I look for, I've got my 3-day cycle. I've got my end of day consolidation marked off with a few levels. This breakout level here, I'm going to actually change this color so that way it's a little bit easier to see. In fact, you know what? Let's get wild with it. Let's put a dotted line there. All right. 3 pushes out. I want to make sure that I'm aware of this level here. And also I want to make sure that I'm aware that we're trading under this level. No. All right. As I sit here and stare at this, because here's the thing, there's stops down there. Breakout trader stops because they broke out of the previous week's low and they've gone lower and they never came back up. All right, so I'm going to put this up into I don't have any signal day. It's day 1, 3-day cycle today, which means that tomorrow will be day 2. So I'll make sure to put that up here, D2. I'm going to move on. This is not a pair I normally watch on a day-to-day basis. However, the NASDAQ is. So let's take a look. Did you start by looking for just 1 or 2 setups and then add it on? Yes. When I first started, I started off by just looking to take trades at the high of the day or the low of the day, but I didn't understand what the heck that meant. So when I came into my session, I was literally looking to take trades from up there or from down there, either down here or up there, and that was it. That was my only 2 options. And then I didn't know anything about trap volume. I didn't know anything about pump and dump or how that stuff actually worked or structure or anything like that. Those were missing pieces. So I started to find a bit more success from that concept because it gave me something in particular to look for, but in the end, I still wasn't quite making it. Oh, and then from there, I started going to the signal days, first red day, first green day, and then worked my way to 3-day cycle. 3-day cycle is good, but it's a better tool. And then from there, I made it to weekly templates, and weekly templates is really, I think, what excelled me even further. Let's see here. Okay, looking over here, good. So remember on S&P 500, I said I was expecting a first green day or at least a failed breakout. Well, thankfully, the NASDAQ has pulled through. Right, we have a confirmed doji candle on the daily chart. We also have a massive W Good stuff. Do we have a break in structure of a major swing level? We do. All right. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. I almost used some weird fake accent for no reason with that. Being weird around here. All right. So break in structure to the upside. Nope. Like that. All right. Put that in the center. So we have a break in structure, which means that my low is going to basically be the low of the day as far as major levels go. Boom. My minor structure, however, is going to be that high right there, and that low not confirmed because we have not made a higher high, which means I can still mark this off, though, as my end-of-day consolidation. We have a failed breakout at the low of the current week, which means this is day one of the 3-day cycle. Also, because of how this presented, we have it open. They traded down first, and then they have now closed back up above that opening price, which means I have a first green day. On top of that, we do have dump. We have not closed more than 50% of that dump. This is more than an ideal candidate for tomorrow. And I hope that I don't come to the screen tomorrow and find that it is dumped down and made lower lows. All right. We've also taken out the breakout level of the previous month's high when we broke out. So looking good. All right. It's a Friday coming into tomorrow. So we might have volume trapped under Tuesday. Where else could we have volume maybe trapped? I guess under down through here. We have one push out of the opening range. We have two pushes out of the opening range and a third, which means that for anybody who's been following along, that is a trade setup for me to look for on a Friday. I look for them to come out of the opening range in 3 drives on a Thursday. And on Friday, I like to find reversal trades. And this is pretty much almost... I don't know if I could have a better criteria. I've got 3 pushes out of the opening range. I have a break in market structure to the upside. I have a first green day, so I have a signal day. This is looking pretty good to me. And of course, even with all of that, I could come to the screen tomorrow and it could be down here and invalidate it all. So always want to be aware that just because it looks really great does not mean that it will be tomorrow. All right, so I've got a signal day identified. I've got my opening range pushes. And I have market structure. I'm going to put this up into first green day. Whenever you open a chart and you immediately have a good feeling about it, and you can immediately trade or see the setup, usually that should probably be the pair that you intend on looking at the following day. Not advice, of course, just education. So, gold. Let's look at gold. Everybody's favorite. Huge consolidation today. Obviously, coiling very heavily. We're coiling for something. I wonder what it will be. Oh, probably non-farm payrolls tomorrow. Okay, so we have day 1 3-day cycle on Monday, day 2 on Tuesday, day 3 on Wednesday. We kept going lower, was not an inside day. Therefore, that day 3 is just simply going to become day 1. But what that can tell me is maybe, just maybe we have volume trap down low. So I'm going to put this breakout level on here, and I'm going to make sure that I identify that. 3 push out of open range. Maybe. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. We sure do. 3 pushes out. So there's the first push down. This is confirming this is the first push down right there. Here is my second push down. And then here's my third right there. Boom. I'm going to put up some numbers up here just to remind myself. 1, 2, and a happy third right there. All right, so on that third push down, we have a failed breakout now at the low of the current day. They broke out, they pulled back inside, closed above the open, which means that this day 2 of the 3-day cycle has now just became D1. Day 1, 3-day cycle, which means that tomorrow will now be day 2. So we opened up here, and we closed up. Oh, it's almost to the pip. All right, almost to the pip. I bet you on different brokers, it may have closed as a green day. That is very, very close. So I'd almost be willing to say, yep, that was a green day. Well, a first green day is what I mean. All right, so we have a low. And then did we trade lower? Yes, we did. Okay, so we have high, lower, low. So that means that this would have been the high right here. Okay, so that's going to be my high for tomorrow. This is going to be my low for tomorrow. Everything else on the inside is just kind of swings and nonsense. But what I will do is I'll mark off this internal structure. Very, very internal. This is like almost irrelevant, but I'm just going to mark it off because it does give you some kind of reference for what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. All right, so 3 pushes out of the opening range. We have potential for trap volume, day 1, 3-day cycle. Potentially, kind of, maybe a first green day. But we, unlike the NASDAQ, we do not have a break to the upside. We are just going sideways, which means that really it could just roll over and keep going down, continuing this downtrend. That's not the setup that I'm looking for. How did that get up there? That's not the setup I'm looking for after 3 pushed out of the opening range, but we'll see kind of what it looks like when we come to the screen. What does one expect for day 2? Day 2 of the 3-day cycle, Pre, is that what you're asking? Or day 5? Day 5 of the weekly template is day 3. So Stacey used to refer to Monday through Friday as day 1 through day 5. Monday would be day 1, Friday would be day 5. Now it's that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is 1, 2, 3, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is 1, 2, 3. So I make sure that I refer to it as that so that everybody is on both ends. I want everyone who's watching to understand what the heck I'm talking about. So Friday is day 3 within the weekly templates. However, day 2 of the 3-day cycle, I look for trend trades in the direction of the breakout, so a failed breakout. So if like day 2, 3-day cycle, we had a failed breakout at the low of the week. On the following day, typically I would be looking for a long continuation, as long as structure confirms that thesis. I'm going to put first green day question mark because it's not really confirmed first green day. We just have the behavior. So which means this breakout level right here is going to be very important. Because if it rolls over tomorrow and continues making lower lows, then I know that this breakout has not actually failed and we're going lower. All right, gold. 3-day cycle, potential signal days 1, 2, 3. But I do have 3 days of shorts in the market, so I can put that 3 days. Previous day's low. Put this up in that spot there. And I'm going to move on before I spend 3 hours doing this stream. Euro USD. Fairly similar situation. We have a open, breakout failed, close, which means we have a first green day on this pair. That alone does not create a first green day, but however, we do have 1, 2, 3 days of shorts in the market. So we have first green day. We have day 1, 3-day cycle based off the failed breakout at the low of the current week. We have a 3 days previous days low has been hit. So we have 2 signal days in effect. Now, structure-wise, we have a low. We made a lower low, which means this is now my high, which means they've also broke structure now to the upside. So what that means for me, I need 3 pushes back down on the 15-minute chart. Could take all day. It could just come down 3 levels into my session, hopefully, and maybe go back up. Maybe. All right. 3 pushes out of the opening range would be the icing on the cake. We've got 1, we've got 2, and we've got a very weak third. So instead of just writing that as 1, 2, 3, I'm just going to write 3P OR as in 3 pushes out of the opening range. I'm going to throw this up into the first green day category as such, and I'm going to move on. US dollar Swiss. Let's take a look. Joe, you know what? You're right. I told you I would do it. I'm a man of my word. I'll do it. And I'll do it right now. And I've never even pulled this up. So let's... Joseph, is this the one that you want me to go over? Is that the correct one? Joseph, is this the right one? Uh-oh. Hopefully you're typing. I'm going to click on it. And if you say no, then I'll change. Let's click on it. Let's see what it looks like. Appreciate your efforts, Morning. No, this adventure, I'm glad that you're finding this stuff useful. All right, so I'm not 100% sure if this is the one that he wants me to review, but I told him I would do it, and therefore I will. Is there a different one? Is there like DAX USD or some I know DAX USD This probably sounds really stupid. Is there like one that's based off of... I just don't want them to be... I want to see all the candles is what I'm trying to say. Okay, you said yes, so this is the right one. All right. Okay, so we had day one. Man, this is going to be rough because the way that it's gapped. This is going to be tough. I can do it, though. I can feel it. Let's take a look. This was Monday. Opening range for the week. All right, 1 push down, 2 push down, 3 pushes down. So we've got 3 pushes down out of the opening range coming into this Thursday. Pretty similar situations to everything else. Structure-wise, it's really hard to tell because there's these gaps here. German 30. I see. Okay. Let's take a look. All right. Okay. Nice. Nice. All right. I'll delete that. We'll leave this up here. So we have... Why does it... Oh, I see. Okay. So day 1, 3-day cycle. Day 2, day 3. Day 1, day 2. Tomorrow will be day 3 of the 3-day cycle. D1. We have 1 push out of the opening range. Right here. 2. Why is it... Oh, it's off by day. That's why I'm losing my mind one day at a time. Okay, we've got day 1. 3-day cycle over here. 2 and 3. I'm still screwed up. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1, day 2. Tomorrow's day 3. And I don't know why I wrote day 1. I probably said it and then just wrote whatever. All right, so Monday is right here. That's the opening range. We have 1 push out, 2 pushes out, 3 pushes out of the opening range, which means that we now have volume potentially trapped underneath. Something like this. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. And I'm going to make sure I put that up there. 3 days. Previous day's low. I know I didn't spell it right. 3 days, previous day's low. 3DOR. Or 3P. Sorry. 3POR. All right. That's what I've got. Day 3, 3-day cycle. 3 pushed out of the opening range. We're at the low of the current week. Structure-wise, we have a low. And then the highs all the way up top. Boom. And boom. Based off of the fact that they broke down right here. Went lower. And they have not broke that low yet. So this is exactly what we've got for this pair. All right, I'm going to move on. I know I said that I would do this pair, but I have been talking for a while, and I don't want to run out of time here. Are we good with this, Joseph? Do you like it? It's a little bit off with the indicator and stuff, but... Cam Media, gold. All right, let's take a look at gold. I already looked at it, but it's all right. 3 days... Previous day's breakouts, 3 pushed out of the opening range. Big coil, no break in structure to the upside. However, we are coiling pretty good. First green day question mark based off of the open and where it closed. It was kind of questionable. But we do have, at the moment, a failed breakout. Day 1, 3-day cycle. Day 2, inbound for tomorrow. You're welcome, Joseph. Gold did not make a higher high, did it? No, it did not. I've got this high labeled up here for that reason. Made a lower low. That's actually very questionable. Hold on. No, equal. It's so close that I can't even tell. I'm not counting it. I'll just leave that high up there intact and it'll be fine. Okay, I'm gonna move on. US dollar Swiss. We had day 1, 3-day cycle back here on Wednesday, day 2 today. This was actually an inside day. First thing that stands out to me. Inside day 2, 3-day cycle. Tomorrow is going to be day 3. So right off the bat, I can at least put this into inside day. We had Monday, we had 1 push out, 2 pushes out. Let's see here. So push out 1, push out 2. One of the other setups that I like to look for is if we only have 2 pushed out of the opening range, I like to try and find the third. But that doesn't always happen, so I'm aware of all sides and scenarios, which is why I'm about to put 3 up here. Question mark. Oh, well, I gotta just put a 3 up there. There. Waiting for that third. Maybe. Maybe not. All right, let's look at structure. Let's look at the last swings within this downswing. This was the higher high, which means that we should have 3 pushes in here somewhere, somehow. Let's see. High of New... I hate when I do stuff like this. There we go. High of the New York session. We had a low. They made a lower low, which actually confirmed that high, which is good. And then I've got my low. So this is what I'm looking at for end of day consolidation like this. EODC. Something like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about, halfway through, probably a little bit more. This is about the point in the stream where I point out the fact that we have 112 viewers currently in the stream and only 86 likes. Ladies and gentlemen, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new here, welcome. But liking the stream, although it only takes you 2 seconds, it does help me out significantly, and it also lets the YouTube algorithm know, hey, this guy's stream is enjoyed. Do you actually take trades on Mondays and Tuesdays? Yes, I do. But I lower my risk. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Day 2, 3-day cycle. Day 3, inside day. So I'm thinking that maybe we hit the low of the day, because this would be hitting the low of the inside bar, and then maybe we'll find that third push back up. Maybe. Let me zoom out, make sure I'm not talking some horrible nonsense. This is the major swing low down here. I'm going to label that. The reason I know this is a major swing low is because we made series of lower lows and lower highs, and then we made a higher high. And then we broke down from that point and started going back down, which means that this is my major swing high. And this is my major swing low at this point. So we have a big box, and now we have a smaller box. Inside day, day 3, 3-day cycle. So I've got signal day, opening range pushes. That looks good. I like this. And I like this pair for tomorrow, maybe. And I really like this pair because the risk to reward is insane. You can get a 2-pip stop loss, and you can still sometimes get a 25 to 50 pip take profit, and those risk to rewards are insane. All right, Euro JPY. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this one. What's going on? So this entire week pretty much has been sitting inside of the opening range. All right, this is a pair that I'm going to ignore. I don't see any setups that I'm excited about. There's no first green day. There's no first red day. We maybe could just be coming down to the low of the, down to the low of the week or something like that, which is probably or maybe what's going on. But probably and maybe don't really help me that much. So I'm just going to ignore this pair. Although that looks like a really nice head and shoulders. I don't care. It's okay. If this is volume trapped up top and they're releasing, it could actually make its way back down towards down here. But we're trading on an inside of the current month. Previous month's high. Previous month's low. We have not hit previous week's high or the previous week's low. This put us into a day or a week 1 of the 3-week cycle, which means that we are in week 2 of the 3-week cycle, which means since we have not currently hit the previous week's high or the previous week's low, the possibility or potential or probability of this becoming an inside week is pretty high as of right now. So I'm probably just going to leave this alone. First red day would have been over here on Wednesday at a minimum. We had a pump, red day. Today, if anything, would have been the first red day opportunity to trade. So I'm just going to leave this down here. In fact, I'm going to delete German 30 before you all get me off my normal process of viewing things. US dollar, Japanese yen. You all saw my thumbnail. Can you post this recording to watch it? Cam Media. Every live that I do is recorded. All of my lives are in the recorded live little portion of my channel. Except for the ones that I removed. They're private. But other than that, they're all out there. Okay. today was a day one of the 3-day cycle. We actually spiked both sides of the range. Okay, so this is definitely going to be day one. It's interesting that we've spiked both sides of the range. All right. Oh, look at that gap. That looks weird. Whenever I see these gaps where they've left price in a breakout level and they've just left it floating, suspended in the air, I always mark them. Because, to be honest, one, they just look really strange. And two, I have found that a lot of times price will come back to those levels. I don't know why. I can assume that it's some kind of weird engineered thing where they're like, oh, look, we've been making higher highs and higher lows. And then they just dump it down, hit the stops on all the people that had their stops, and then they go wherever they want to go. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so looking at this, though, we did have a high. We broke down. We started making lower lows and lower highs. And then we started making higher highs and higher lows, which means that this would have been a major swing low. And then we actually broke that swing low today. Okay, so we've made a lower low on the 15-minute chart. Did we make a lower low on the 1 hour? I'm curious. No, we did not. All right. So on the 15-minute chart, we do have a break in structure on a major swing level. So I will be curious and happy to see kind of what happens tomorrow with this. Day one, day two, big pump, red day. Whenever we spike both sides of the range like this, always make sure to mark off my peaks to remind myself that they have spiked both sides of the range, peak formation high, peak formation low. All right. They've slammed out of previous week's high in one push, and two push, and three. So we have 1, 2, and 3. However, out of the opening range, we have 1 and 2. So we only have 2 pushes out of the opening range, but we do have 3 pushes out of the previous week's high. By definition, this is a first red day. So I'm going to put that up there. As far as structure goes, I've already labeled that. These are my major swing levels up there and down here. As far as minor structure goes, I've got that low down there. And I've got this high right here. Because we had a low, we had a high, we had a lower low, and then that high is still intact. So, end of day consolidation. Tomorrow's day 2, first red day. Looking good, looking good, looking good, looking good. All right. Is US Swiss a first red day? I think it is. This is why I like doing these streams. They're fun. People point stuff out. I miss stuff every once in a while. Good stuff. We had a big pump. We had a day that closed below the open. We did go down more than 50% of the dump, but however, look where the pump has began for this week. Push 1, push 2, maybe push 3, or maybe I've missed a push somewhere. So maybe this is a big pump and dump. Maybe. Okay. Let's go to oil. Let's go to oil. We had day 1, 3-day cycle. Broke out, failed, low of the week. Man, this thing just absolutely went for a tear today. Today was one of the only days where I was actually looking for a long. I was looking for a long on a first red day because of the fact that we broke structure right here on the news. Was that news? I don't even think that was news, was it? I don't know. Market went vertical, though. This was a parabolic trend trade, or parabolic. I don't even think it's not even really a parabolic trend trade. It's just the channel. There's a parabolic channel that went vertical, broke structure to the upside. On the 1-minute chart, it pulled back very, very clean. Big news on oil today. Oh, you know what? That's right. It was like the OPEC or whatever. Yeah, that stuff. Anyway, so broke structure to the upside. The 3 pushes on the 1 minute chart were actually very clean, and the time of day was very clean. But I'd already taken my trades for the day, so I just left it be. And I think there was more news at 10, which also kind of made me not want to trade it. But anyway, day 1, 3-day cycle. Let's identify a few things. D1. And normally this would be a first green day, but I'm making faces because let's look at the 1 hour. In fact, you know what? I'll use the 1 hour for this structure portion of the video. We get a high, a low, a higher high, and then we made a lower low. And then about 2 candles of pullback. Broke down, high, low. So these are minor swings on a 1 hour chart. So that means that my major swing level is now up here and down here. So this is my box basically for oil for major swings. Let's go back to the 15. I don't usually do structure on the 1 hour, but sometimes it can provide a bit of context for what's going on. One thing that I've seen is, we broke down and now we're going back up towards the high, but this is volume trapped above previous month's high. Are we just going to retest that? I have no idea. And, I don't trade off of, well, it looks like it could retest support and resistance, and it could go back down from here. I don't really see any setups, is what I'm trying to say. It's day 2, 3-day cycle. We might have volume trap below previous week's high, but we could also have them, we're trading back up into the high after breaking down. So I actually really don't know. I'll be the first one to always admit when I honestly just don't see something. Kind of seems like 1, 2, 3, but I feel like I'm reaching. I feel like I'm guessing. Just so you all know, I will always be watching this pair. Every single day I watch oil, gold, NASDAQ. Every single day, whether I think I either have a setup or not, I always pull it up and I always observe and develop some kind of thesis around it. And if it starts to play out and it starts to work out, then I will actively engage. However, as of right now, I'm not willing to say anything on the internet about what I feel like is happening as far as setups go here on oil. Pound dollar. All right, I've been talking for about 1 hour now. I need to speed things up a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like perfect pattern, but it's kind of screwed. Yeah. All right, so day 1, 3-day cycle on this pair, and we've got almost first green day. Obviously, 1 push down, 2 push down, 3 push down. Day 1, 3-day cycle. I'm going to write D1. I'm writing first green day because of the way that it's presented. It looks like a first green day. 3POR. 3 pushes out of opening range. We've also got 1 push down, 2 push down, 3 pushes down out of the previous week's low. 3 pushes, 3 levels, ends a move. There's just so many. I'm not going to say that. It really looks like there is going to be a good setup tomorrow. All right, I'll leave it there. Looks like we have a break-in structure to the upside right here. And now we have a nice little consolidation going. Boom, boom. EODC. Let's see. They started making higher highs and higher lows at that point. And then it broke back down. I think my major swing high is all the way up here. So this kind of gives me my larger box, and then I have a smaller box. Looking good. On a parabolic trade, does a person want to get in the channel or pull? Here's the parabolic trend trade channel. Imagine they are going up. I'm watching and observing behavior to figure out if they are dragging shorts in a direction. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please watch some of my other videos, or if somebody can help this person figure out where I said something about shorts getting dragged. And then I look for a manipulation out the bottom of the channel, because that's usually the thing that will send the market straight up. So this point right here is where I start to become very interested. Whenever they burst out and then they rip it back in, that's usually where I'm looking to try and get in. I will try to get in at the bottom of the channel, and I will add through my position as it climbs. And then when it bursts out and explodes, I just let it go. At least that's, in a perfect world, that's where I'm trying to accomplish within my own abilities, I suppose, if I were to take a perfect trade. Okay, I'm really liking this pair. 3 pushes out of the opening range. Day 1, 3-day cycle. That means that tomorrow's day 2. First green day. Technically still backside of the move. 3 days. 3 days short. Throw that up there. All right, first green day. I need structure to tell me something cool about what's going to happen. We do have a break. We don't have a break up here, but maybe we're working up towards that high. Okay, moving on. US dollar CAD. Pretty choppy today. See, we had a high, we had a low, we had a higher high. Then we made a bit of a lower low. Was this a red day? Looks like it opened there. Nope, it was not. It was also not a failed breakout. It's just been going straight up. All right, so 1, 2, 3. We do have 3 pushed out of the opening range. I'm going to write this in here. BIS, question mark, because it's kind of questionable. It doesn't really look like it actually went the full distance. Also going to mark off the fact that we're just consolidating directly below this previous month's high. Again, looks kind of weird. Why are they that close to it and not taking it out? It's just weird to me. I don't know why they would do that. All right, there's money sitting up there. A lot of times they will go grab it. I don't know if they will this time, but we'll see. Broke structure to the downside, potentially. We have 3 days, previous days long in the market, 3 days high. We also have 3P, OR, 3 push out of the opening range. I think that's good enough for me to develop a thesis coming in tomorrow. Oh, no. Want to make sure I point that out. Push 1, push 2, push 3 out of previous week's high and a breakout level that is untested. Just to make sure that I'm aware of where the money is at. That's where my thumbnail came from. You're always trying to track the money. Where is the money? Who's in profit? Are they actually flipping around to go back and finally take them out? US dollar CAD is going to go up into 3 days, previous days breakouts. Pound yen, my favorite pair of all time. Sarcasm. All right. Monday. Oh, boy. We hit the bottom of the opening range. We pull back inside. I mean, I can clearly see where there's a consolidation. They broke down. All right. Yeah. This is another one I genuinely have no idea. I'm just going to leave it. If you all have better ideas or thesis about it. All right. US 30. Wow, this looks nice. High, low, higher, or lower high, lower low, higher high. Day 1, day 2, day 3, 3-day cycle. We broke out, and it doesn't matter. Day 1, it's not an inside day, so this day 3 is just going to become a day 1. Tomorrow is going to be day 2. Or I'm going to just start entering paper trades right here on the stream. Day 2. And what did Monday look like? Okay, so we had 1 push down on Wednesday. We're in the second push now. So we've only got 2 pushes down. Okay. I still think I like the NASDAQ the most. We do have this space up here between the previous month's high and price. I don't know why they didn't take that out. They were pretty close. They could. Maybe not. We'll see. Really no strong opinions other than the fact that it looks kind of like a pump or dump and pump kind of scenario where they dumped it down. Now they broke up. Are we coming down 3 pushes back down into the low? Maybe. Okay, this pair I'm just going to put up into the day 2. I've got structure labeled. This is my high. And then they have not broke that high, which technically means that my low is all the way down there. But as you all know, I like to just make sure I've got internal structure labeled and I'm aware of what's happened in relation to my fancy, super, great lines all over the chart. First red day. All right, so first red day. If we were pumping, boom, 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 and then we went up and then closed down below the open, that would be a first red day because you're looking to go down. First green day is the opposite of that. So if I were to flip this back over, I think it looks a lot more like the first green day scenario, in my opinion. Euro JPY. Let's see here. No, this is the one that I said goodbye to. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been talking for, well, actually, since pretty much 7 o'clock this morning, and I'm not complaining. I love every second of every minute of what I do. That sentence made absolutely no sense, but thank you all so much for being here in the stream. Does anybody have any questions before I go? I know I saw you say Australian dollar, US dollar. That's not usually something that I would look at, so I'm sorry. Is oil not a day zero setup? It very well could be. Wait. No. If it was a day zero, it would have spiked both sides. Well, they spiked high and then they spiked low, so I guess that is technically peak formation high, peak formation low. Peak formation high, peak formation low, and now we're trading back up into the high. So that might be something to think about tomorrow. All right, I feel bad. I saw it. If I didn't see it, I would just ignore it. Not ignore it, but if I didn't see it in time, but now I saw it, and I feel bad if I don't actually do it. So Australian dollar, US dollar. That doesn't mean that all of you, please don't all of you go post in there, because then I'll feel bad and I'll start doing every single pair y'all post. All right. Lower low, higher high on the day, first green day. Man, maybe I'm glad I did this. This doesn't look bad. I took this pair off my chart because I do not like how it trades, but this looks very clean. Monday, push down, push down, push down. So we've got 3 pushes out of the opening range. 3 pushes out of the opening range. We've got push down 1, push down 2, push down 3 out of previous week's low, but also out of the previous month's low. We have 1, 2, and 3. Maybe it's a pretty good thing that you spammed it in the chat and got me to look at it. Thank you for that. This is pretty good. So 3 pushed out of the opening range. I'm going to put 3P, 3 pushes out of previous month's low. So that's looking good. I'm pretty sure there's 3 days of shorts in the market. So 3 days. 3 days previous day's low has been hit. I like this one, and I'm actually going to keep this on here, and I'm going to put it up here. That is definitely a first green day. They traded down, broke structure to the upside. No, John, you're trying to mess with me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great stream. Thank you all so much for your participation. Thank you all so much for being here and attending, and just hanging out with me. Appreciate every single last one of you. Seriously, best trading community on YouTube or out there in general. If you haven't been in the Discord, please, Discord's down below. The link is there. Everybody trades exactly this way. Everyone's kind of trading similar strategy. They all kind of have similar mindset. Best community there is. I'm telling you, there's so much information, so much experience in that Discord. We've got about 2,300 people in there right now, which is absolutely insane. You all have a wonderful night. Take care of your families. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you tomorrow if you're in Discord, and then next week if you're not. You all have a good day.